Barakatuh. Sheikh, it's a quite a familiar story in our country. Actually, a man has been a complete drug addict for the last 30 years. He still doesn't do any work or earn anything. 12 years ago, his mother got him married to a poor girl, thinking a wife might help him get back to a normal life. That wife or her guardians weren't aware of the fact that this man was a drug addict because his family concealed it. His mother passed away a few years later. Now this man has two kids. His father and brothers financially support the kids and wife, but his wife gets humiliated by society and financially. She doesn't have anyone to bear her and her kids' expenses if she leaves him. So the concern is recently that man got a work permit visa, so he gave up drugs in order to pass the dope test. However, without any reason, he wants to divorce his wife once he starts earning. So, what's the duty of close relatives in dealing such a case, especially when he doesn't listen to their good advice? Whether Sharia supports the marriage decision taken by his mother? Jazakallah.
جزانا وإياكم. First of all, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated that لا نكاح إلا بولي وشاهدي عدل. So a woman may not give herself in marriage without the consent of her guardian. Why? For a reason like that. So the guardian has to investigate and find out whether the person who is proposing is a good person or not, practicing or not, decent or not, kind or not, working and can provide for a family or not. The Prophet ﷺ said, كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. I am in charge for my daughters, my sons, my wife, and everyone who's living under my roof. So when somebody is proposing to my daughter, I don't say, MashaAllah, he comes from a wealthy family. That's not sufficient. I have to investigate. I've got to investigate and find out whether the person himself is reliable or not, a man of manners or not, working and can provide for the family or not. And this is easy. You go to his workplace and find out. He said since he's been a drug addict for 30 years, he's not been working. That by itself is a sufficient reason to say, no, sorry, we don't have daughters or girls for marriage for this person. This is as far as the guardian who decided to give this innocent girl in marriage to a loser. Secondly, a parent, a father or a mother, or both of them, when they're afflicted with a son who's a drug addict, and then they think that if we get him married, he will improve. So they afflict another family, and they test an innocent girl. They're blameworthy before Allah. They are cheaters. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Man ghasha falaysa minna. Would you like the same to happen to your own daughter? Of course not. So please, before asking a question, what to do, the question should have been asked before marriage. A mother who wants to get her son married in order to treat him from drug addiction is not fair. You know, this is not the treatment. The treatment is to be put in a hospital, then in a rehab, until he recovers, until he is capable to work and earn and provide for himself and others. But to afflict the daughters of other families, this is definitely haram. And this is deceiving. Allah will punish them for that. Now, if the guy is still addicted to drugs and cannot function, it is the responsibility of his family, his siblings, his father, if he's still alive, if he has a share of the inheritance. It must be given to the mother to look after the children. It's called child support. And if he wants to divorce her after all the suffering that she's been through, this is an indication that this person is simply ruthless, you know? So a woman who had to bear all the trouble and she couldn't find a support, now when he starts improving, he wants to get rid of her. You know, what kind of person is this? In any case, if she is divorced, she's entitled for a housing and a child support, which will be sufficient not only for her kids, but for her too, because she's looking after them. As Allah the Almighty stated in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَالْوَالِدَاتُ يُرْضِعْنَ أَوْلَادَهُنَّ حَوْلَيْنِ كَامِلَيْنِ لِمَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يُتِمَّ الرَّضَاعَ. وعلى المولود له رزقهن وكسوتهن بالمعروف. So in case that they're separated and the mother is still breastfeeding, he must provide the housing, must provide for the babies and for the mother's food and clothing in order to look after the children. May Allah guide us to what is best.